Hello, welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Super excited to be here today and have a special guest for you. This is brought to you by BALM Global LLC, as well as the Connected Leaders Academy. We have a special guest today. Her name is Kelly Buckley. I had the pleasure of meeting her back in December of 2022 at a BLM live event. And since then, we have been in community. Super excited to have her on. She is a certified life coach, creator, and host of the Beautifully Confident podcast, TV show on Phoenix TV, and a dynamic professional with years of experience in coaching and consulting. With her impressive range of expertise, she has guided countless women towards personal and professional transformation. Kelly's coaching practice benefits from her Bachelor of Science in Business, cosmetology license, and coaching certification, providing valuable insights and strategic guidance to her clients. Her warm and empathetic approach, combined with personal experiences as a wife and mother, helps clients balance work and family life, develop a positive outlook, and achieve their goals. With a passion for travel, food, and gardening, Kelly creates a nurturing environment at home, enhancing her work-life balance through unwavering support and guidance. Kelly empowers women to reach their full potential, leading them to fulfilling and successful lives. That is definitely my love language. Without further ado, let's get Kelly right on here. One moment, we're just having some screen difficulties. Give me 1 second here. Oh, how we love the internet. We will have her on in just a moment. There we go. Hey, Kelly, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure having you. I know we have been trying to get you on for some time. Schedules have been kind of, all over the place, but we never give up and we're always ready for whatever happens, right?
Of course, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So it is, again, my pleasure to have you on. We met back in December. Before we get into that, just tell us a little bit about who Kelly is. Where did you grow up? What were your passions? What was your initial thing that you wanted to do, like your initial dream job? And did you get there? And how did you get to where you're at today?
Okay. Well, I grew up in North Jersey. So I am a transplant in Pennsylvania. I went to Susquehanna University, which is where I got my BS in business. And I stayed, and I have a degree in business, but while I was in college, realized that I was not going to be sitting in an office all day long, which was my vision of what business was. If you had a business degree, you worked in corporate America and you sat in an office. And I did that for a few summers in an accounting firm, and I was horrified. I thought, this is so boring. What are these people doing all day long? So I knew that wasn't going to be something I really wanted to do. And it's kind of funny you asked then did I go into my dream job? So I am a co-author in a book that's coming out, and something that I had forgotten about was my dream job was actually to be a chef. So I wanted to be a chef in my freshman year of high school. That was the path I wanted to take. And which is sort of part of my theme in life, is helping women with their confidence, because I feel like what people say to us has such an impact that most people don't even realize it. Because why I didn't go into that field was I went to 1 year of an all-girls Catholic school, and I had a nun say to me when I said that I wanted to be a chef, she said, "Oh, you don't want to be a chef. You want to own the restaurant. So I
Mm,
talked about this in my chapter because it was my first like, oh, but I wanted to be a chef. And my 14-year-old brain was like, oh gosh, own a restaurant? I don't like, I kind of just shut down and then just abandoned that whole idea.
wow.
Yeah. And then when I was in college in my junior year, said, you know what, I am interested in cosmetology and I will finish, but I'm going right to cosmetology school after. And then I have been in the beauty industry for over 30 years in different capacities.
I love that. Wow. How someone could really crush your dreams with just one comment. That's why we have to be very careful on what we say to people. If people have a dream and that is their dream, then, we have to let them live it out, right? Eventually becoming a chef, you get into the industry and you may have, stumbled upon an ownership and say, you know what, I want my own. But maybe that wasn't your calling. Like we just never know, right?
Yeah.
And it's so awesome because before today, I knew you were in the beauty industry, but I did not know you were a cosmetologist, which is
Yeah.
crazy because that was something I wanted to be everything under the sun, from an ice skater to a cosmetologist, teacher, a little bit of all of that, right? And I actually had signed up for Empire Beauty School, but there was something that happened with my financial aid that again I had to kind of handle, but because it was going to be a lot of extra work to handle, I kind of abandoned that dream. So I can, just those little things that happen in your life that can kind of change the trajectory. Now, maybe it was for the best, right?
Yeah.
Look at where we're at today. So, what was your love for cosmetology? Did you go in with the impression of, I love this. This is something I really want to do. I kind of just want to see where it is. What was your passion for that? And what were some of the challenges going through um, cosmetology that you might have said, you know what, is this really for me when you questioned yourself? Did you ever question yourself through the process?
I actually went into cosmetology with the idea, I'm probably going to show my age a little bit, but when I became interested in it was when nail salons were on the rise. And I thought, I, I love that. And I actually went and had my nails done every week to stop biting them.
Mm,
So I bit my nails until I was about 20 years old. Bad nervous habit. But now look, I have pretty nails. So that actually was really what I wanted to do. I wanted to own my own nail salon and have multiple stylists. But when I started school, I realized I really loved doing hair. And I've always taken care of my own hair and presented myself, but I was never the person to cut my bangs or cut anything. I did not cut one little piece of hair, and unless it was not, shouldn't have been, but till I went to cosmetology school. And then after I was there, some of the challenges I faced were most people go right out after high school. I went right after college, and they're very different views. And I did also go to Empire. So they're very different views of, when you're done with a class in college, you finish and you leave and you go about your day. And it just never clicked in my brain that in a field that you are certified or you get a license, you have to do the hours. So that was a big like, oh, because we had a lot of extra time. So that was something we would finish what we had to do for the day and then hang out. And the first couple days that it started, I was looking around and I thought, what are we doing? Are we done? Can we go? And I was engaged and planning a wedding and working a part-time job. And I thought, I just want to go home. Like, aren't we done? So that was a little bit of a challenge to adjust to sort of taking a step back with the people I was around, which were more high school graduates. And then going into the field, the next thing I realized was I just absolutely loved color. So I taught for an international color company for 10 years, actually. So it was just, and that's what I thought I would do for the rest of my life until I realized how taxing that industry is on our bodies to be standing like that with our arms up like this for 12 hours a day.
Wow. Well, we actually have more in common than we know. So I was absolutely a nail biter. I mean, until they bled. Um,
Yes.
and I think for my senior year was the first time I got acrylic. And I think I had a record breaking refill needed for such a long time that when I actually just took them off, because I never went back, I noticed that my nails were a little bit stronger. And then that's when Nutra Nail came out and I started using that. And now my nails are all natural as well. So,
Beautiful.
and that was also in my 20s. So how crazy is that? That's why I love these communities. When you get to talk and get these extra time with each other, you find out that you're so more relatable than what you thought at first, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. So yeah, I think I would go a little nuts if I'm just sitting around while, you know, I've done all my tasks. Like I want to be in action all the time. And again, my aunt, she's a licensed cosmetologist as well. She does hair restoration for men. She's out in Vegas. She actually flew me out there in 2004 to do the business side of it. So I was definitely in the industry while my cousin was actually graduating from cosmetology school. So I was able to like see everything in action. So that was pretty awesome. But you did it. You did it. And you found out that, you know, how long did you, once you graduated, did you do anything on your own, on the side? And how quick did you say, you know what, this is just not for me?
So it wasn't quick. So I'm revealing all my little things in my book because I talk about this, or my chapter. I actually ended up owning my salon for 27 years. So I sold it only 3 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yes. I worked for someone who I just thought that he did such a great job. He did my hair in college. I worked for him for 6 months and he stopped showing up to work because apparently as the owner, you can do that. And I honestly, my husband at the time talked me into just leaving him a message with an offer. So yes, I left him a message with an offer to buy his salon after 6 months of being in the industry. And I was scared, but I thought, I've been here for 6 months. All these people are getting to know me and I'm getting to know them. And it was in my work ethic to go to work every day, no matter what. And nobody told me not to. I could get in, I could do what I needed to do. And I was building my clientele. So I bought that business and owned it for 27 years until I sold it to a fabulous person. She worked for me for 6 years before buying it, but she's a great owner and was happy to pass it on to her.
That is awesome. Oh, wow. So 27 years. What were the challenges within that space, and when you eventually sold it, what was the reason behind it, and how did that lead into the coaching?
So through the time that I was in my salon, like I said, I taught for a color company. So I was consulting and teaching other salons how to use color. I also became involved in a direct sales company, Mary Kay. So my theme of life has been beauty and confidence. So I've worked with women with coaching and consulting in there. So some of the challenges with my salon were I had a vision of having a big salon. I wanted to have multiple stylists. But what I've realized now that I'm moving into the coaching and consulting in a little different area is I didn't really have a business plan. So the challenges came in with that. I felt like I was constantly pivoting, and I went through 27 stylists in my 27 years. And again, didn't quite realize that my business plan wasn't there. So, and I think years and years ago, it was unheard of to find a business coach. So I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I led my salon by just treating my clients great. And I had a very successful business, but didn't know how much bigger it could be. So those were some of the challenges I faced. And then in my mind, I wanted to be in the industry for 10 years and then get out of it, because probably my clients all know this. I never wanted to have old lady hairdresser hands.
Oh.
Because typically, if you're working with that much chemicals, your hands really take a toll, whether you're wearing gloves or not. And I knew that it wasn't really, it's not a great long-term place to be, is standing behind the chair. But the deeper I got into it, the more wrapped up I think my ego was in it. So it was very hard to separate. And I realized when we started talking about it, we actually started talking about it quite a few years before making the transition of the sale happen. And I would just get so upset. And I realized one day, maybe I'm just not ready.
Yeah. Wow. There is so much to unpack here, because it was a long journey for you. So you definitely seen the ins and outs, the evolution of beauty, and what has been, in style, not in style. And
Yes.
through that, did you find yourself coaching behind the chair while your clients were sitting there? Like, I'm sure we were therapists at a time. We were definitely that motivator, that shoulder that our clients could cry on. I'm sure you've been through weddings and so many different things. Is there ever, what is the most impactful moment that you had in those 27 years? And there's probably a few, but something that you can just remember and share that just made you know that you were in the right place at the time.
I think honestly, probably thinking about selling it, what kind of got me like worked up about it, and I'm getting a little worked up now, was that what kind of held me back was, if I leave here, how will I see these people? Will I be able to connect with them? Because this is a lot of people, a lot. I mean, I honestly never counted, but when I left, I knew that what was in my client base was, I think, upwards of 600 people that were currently in there. And that was actually after I computerized, because for so many years, I just wrote it in, one of those books that I'm sure we've all seen.
Yeah.
But that was probably my biggest challenge, was I'll really miss these people. And honestly, it has been a challenge for the past 3 years, because I've only been able to keep in touch with a handful of them. Because I think in all businesses, there has to be a little line, with your clients, that you can't be friends with everyone. And that, that definitely existed, but trying to keep up with them and know, what's going on in their lives was a little bit of like, this is where I'm meant to be, and I don't quite want to let it go. But then there was a time of, it's time. This isn't the best thing for my body anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said something very important earlier, that you had just a 10-year vision for this so that you could move on to something else, which is something that I share with my clients all the time, is that we go to school, we graduate if we do, or we go straight to corporate America, retail, whatever it is, and we kind of get comfortable, and we don't create those plans. And for you, it was a business plan, but for others, it's just a life plan, an exit plan, a strategy of using that time, absorbing all the knowledge and the skills that you need, and than growing, right? Because life is about growth. Life is about moving on, leveling up, and whatever that looks like for people. And it's very important for those that are watching and listening and tuning in every week is that we definitely share that it's only for a moment. We work in seasons, right? We do business in seasons, and when the opportunity comes at you and says, hey, it's time for a new level, a new partnership, a new collaboration, a new vision. And you can compound that. And I feel like that's what you did. You took your beauty and then you took it to the next level, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I just wanted to point that out, that that's very, very important that we start seeking those exit plans, especially when we just have it in our heart that something else is out there for us and for those that are waiting for us to get there, right? So we're going to take a quick commercial break and listen to our sponsor, and we'll be right back in just a minute with Kelly Buckley. One moment.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with Kelly, who is an amazing certified life coach, creator, and host of the Beautifully Confident podcast TV show. So excited for you and what you have going on. So we went through kind of like your journey from college to cosmetology to then owning your own shop to selling your shop. And now we're in 2020. I think that's probably when all of this happened. Is that correct?
2019, actually, ironically, it was right before COVID.
Yeah. So take us on a path of what happens next. Like, what was that final decision, handing over the keys, and what was the game plan?
So my game plan was actually that I would build my network marketing business and move to the next levels, which I did. COVID was for the beauty industry, and skincare and cosmetics was huge. And I think it was huge because people were sitting like this saying, oh, is that what I look like? So skincare actually went up over 200% during that time. So that was my next evolution of earning another free car and growing my business that way. But what I realized after a few years of that was, oh gosh, like now we're behind the screen all the time, and I'm still hearing the same theme that I've heard from so many women since I have been in the beauty industry, is just that kind of crack in confidence, that it didn't seem to matter what I helped people with on the outward appearance. They may still have had a crack in their confidence, which is what led me to create the Beautifully Confident podcast and then started it as a TV show last month. So, because what I wanted to deliver was sharing other women's stories of when they had a turning point in their life and realized maybe they didn't feel as confident to be able to move to that next step. Because looking back at my own journey, I wasn't taking those next steps because I was lacking in confidence in that next step I was taking. I didn't have the, whatever you want to call it, to take the leap, and didn't have enough people in my network to realize what I didn't know at the time, to pull from, oh, this concept or this idea. So I developed Beautifully Confident with the idea that I would like to coach more women globally and work with more women to help elevate their confidence so they can reclaim it and move to whatever next level they want. Are they, have they been spending too much time in an area that they think, well, I don't really know what else there is. And I felt like that's kind of where I spent too much time.
Wow. So did you eventually hire a coach, and how did you get into the network space to build your audience, those people that can kind of help with, the vision or any additional life lessons that they have been through? And has that been beneficial for your growth today?
Yes. So the podcast actually started with podcast school. So my friend who I actually know through network marketing, Cami Lehman, has a podcast school. And through that, she is also a coach, which is when the next meltdown happened. Because developing the podcast, we're on a podcast. We figure out what message we want to send. And I realized that the message I wanted to put out there was also wrapped around me playing small, that I didn't have a network that I wanted to have. I was living in my small town and kind of keeping myself there. So through meeting some of my podcast guests, it was just like these women are just amazing, what they're delivering to the world to help others. And, where's my place that I can be helping others? But I'm somebody who recovers quickly, but I had a meltdown on a Saturday afternoon. I recall I cried quite a bit, called Cami. She helped me get through it. Who are you not to be sharing this? And, we went through the steps. And then through that, I progressed to going to a BLM live event, which is where we met. I met Jose and got connected with the Connected Leaders Academy. And these networking groups were completely foreign to me before that. My networking groups were always only within my industry, like-minded as opposed to growth-minded. So I've shifted my thinking more to, yes, we need each other, and what each other is offering is open to. There's so many people who need so many different things to help grow themselves. So that was kind of the area I was, as far as just this is another thing that needs to be built, is networking and who we're connecting with.
Wow, that's so important. And that just happened. I know your podcast was out for a while. You had the breakdown, and it's okay to have that. Entrepreneurship is definitely not rainbows and flowers. By no means. A lot of people see the success that we have, but they don't see what goes on behind the scenes and the day to day that it takes to keep that smile that they keep seeing on social media and on these podcasts. But we really have to tackle some things, personally, within our networks and things like that. So the fact that you were aware that you have this amazing, Cami is just absolutely amazing. I still have to have a virtual coffee and get her on this podcast. Because podcasting school, wow, I mean, I train on it, but she has a whole university, which is amazing.
Yes.
And the fact that you outreached and you said, hey, you know what, I need some help, I can't do this alone, I need someone else's eye view, perspective, and guiding me. I am a total advocate for having a coach. I have 2 coaches and multiple coaching groups, which is really what our networking groups are. You're getting coached every day, every event, every mastermind. It's another way to learn how has that been with expanding your your network in just a matter of 6 months since December? Wow. So have you
Yes.
enjoyed the process?
I have. So the third coaching person that I was introduced to, which is actually leading me to writing a book around my program as well, is the Minting Millionaires Club, Dr. Obambo. And that has been a great experience. And so this whole idea of our networking groups was new to me. And I love that it's set up in our groups that when we have a virtual coffee chat, we're not pitching each other. We're just getting to know each other. And if it happens that we're a good fit for each other's business, I love that, because that hasn't always been in the past. Honestly, when I would see a Facebook message or a friend request from someone that I didn't know, my first thought was always very cynical of, what do you want? What do you want me to buy? And I do think those cold messages are a lot like that. So I love that, the networking groups that are formed now that we're part of is more, let's get to know each other and see how we can help each other, not let me pitch you in my next 5 minutes of talking to you.
Yeah, that has been my experience. And I have been with these communities, starting with Ama, which is my publisher. He led me to Jose led me to JR led me to Obam. So, I'm in all of their communities just supporting it, because even though we may see some of the same people, there are still new people, new faces that you have to connect with. And I think that every connection that I've had, I've had everyone, mostly everyone on my show. I still need to go through a lot more people. We're about to hit our 100th live interview in less than a year. Actually, like, I would say 8 months, 9 months, because we started about September-ish, which is crazy to do that. But it's been phenomenal just, joining forces with people that are willing to, not willing, that their only agenda item is to get to know you and how they can serve you in this community. And that's what I love about each and every one of them. It's just been an amazing journey. But you said you have a book coming out. Talk to us a little bit about that. Talk to us about your coaching program and whatever you have going on.
So my book coming out is called She Elevates Now. And like I said, my coaching is just around my passion for working with women to figure out where that confidence was shaken for them. And so I have a 4-week program starting on Tuesday, actually. And so that one will be a little more condensed, of identifying the realization of I'm not where I want to be. And then looking at what are some of the self-care practices and habits that you have around that. And what are some of your time management issues? Because those are typically things that create those cracks in our confidence that we don't move to that next level. And figuring out what do we need to do to elevate ourselves to move to that next level. And then my book and 12-week program are an expanded version of that, the whole idea of moving up to the most beautifully confident women that we can be and create the life that we want to have, and not just live in a life that somebody else designed for us or spoke into us when we were younger.
Yeah. So we're talking about confidence here, and everybody has a different definition of confidence. What does confidence mean to you?
Confidence means to me of living a life that we love and not having anybody be able to shake that. So, and showing up as the best version of ourselves because we have that inner confidence. And that's what we want to put out to the world. I kind of had a realization this past weekend at my daughter's wedding of how much people do to dress themselves up and to put their best face forward at an event or for a photo shoot, to have in the future people look at a picture and say, that's you. And I realized that's part of not showing up as the best version of ourselves on a daily basis. You know, what happens in the morning when you get up and you don't present your best you sort of have a crappy day going on because you don't feel that great about yourself. That's how we project ourselves, is how we feel about ourselves.
I love that. So don't show up confident just when you have to. Show up confident every single day, even when you don't feel like it. You're going to feel so much better. And I didn't have this on earlier, and I don't think I created it. But how can people get a hold of you?
Through my website. You can connect right on there. It's beautifullyconfidentpodcast.com. All of my links are on there and what I have going on. And it's in a growth pattern. So it's very simple right now. There's more coming on it.
I love it. So this has been amazing. I just love everything that has to do with beauty, with confidence, with empowerment, with just women living in their purpose and really finding what those are and sealing those patches or those cracks that you were describing. It's so that they don't open again, because, you know, in life, they say we only live once, right? But we live every single day. Every day is another opportunity to make our lives what we wanted to make. We are the author, producer, subscriber. We're everything in our lives. And again, I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see your journey and everything that you're doing. So I just want to applaud you for, you know, taking your experience, your expertise, and doing what you love and being happy in this space. So where can they find your TV show on?
So the TV show is on Phoenix TV, and it's a free streaming app. So if you just type in Phoenix TV, it pops up that you can subscribe. And my show launches every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and it's actually progressing to segments. So our watchers can be watching for a beauty and fashion segment, a short interview with someone on their tips about becoming beautifully confident, some of my tips, as well as we're going to throw in spotlights on a few charity organizations.
That is amazing. And is there anyone you're searching for right now for anything that they may connect with you with on that level? Any opportunities available?
Yes. So right now I am looking for some beauty and fashion people to share their beauty and fashion tips, as well as they can be a guest as well, sharing if they've had a turning point in their life that they were kind of shaken and what they're doing to elevate that. And then on the charity side or foundation side, whichever it might be, is organizations that are doing things that benefit women. So I have an organization coming up that does plans retreats for, they don't call it survivors of cancer, they call it thrivers after cancer, because they don't want to be referred to, as survivors. They are thriving. So I want to spotlight that to have more people seeing the organizations and what they're doing and knowing about it, because I know how hard it is for nonprofit organizations to get their word out there.
That's beautiful. I love that. Kelly, it's been absolutely amazing. Welcome to the BALM family. Finally, it's so honored to have you. And it's been an awesome time to getting to know that we have more in common than we thought. And I can't wait to continue to be in community with you. And again, just watch your growth, and, you know, maybe we can partner up sometime soon. We will definitely have to have another virtual coffee to see what we can make happen. But this is what we do. This is as simple as it gets, is when you are authentically you and you show up to these community calls and you get into these one-on-one opportunities, and you're there with your heart open and ready to serve. Beautiful things are just happening right before our eyes and just manifesting just so beautifully, which is exactly what you stand for. So, do you want to leave our audience with any final words?
Oh, if you feel like you are questioning what in the world am I doing here, it's time to connect with somebody and figure out what can you elevate so that you can start claiming the life that you love and not just living in the shadows and not being your fabulous self.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate you having me on here. It's been a pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host again. Have a great day and make it count.